What's up? Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Hope y'all having another good day. So bringing y'all some content on this weekend, right? So this video, you guys, is going to be my follow-up video since I've gotten the truck back from getting the transmission built with the Revmax 700. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that want to know how is it worth paying that much money to get the transmission done, or getting that model, brand, whatever you want to call it, right? My answer right off the bat is going to be yes, but I'm going to go way more in depth with that. I will have clips of driving the truck just see what it sounds like, shifts like while driving it. But yeah, so we got that, and then we also gonna do some small stuff right now. So I can't make a full video out of it, but I do have some brand new sway bar links that I'm gonna be throwing on the truck, just because the ones on there are clapped out. So I want to get some brand new ones on there. So you guys sit back, enjoy the video, drop a comment, let me know what you guys think. If you guys are running a built 68 RFE trans, or even a built trans on something else, drop a comment down below. I want to know what you guys are running. I want to hear your experience and like how you enjoyed it, didn't enjoy it, whatever it may be, right? So make sure you drop a comment down below. And lastly, hit the like button because it helps the channel out. It doesn't cost you anything, and it only takes 2 seconds. Thank you guys for joining. Let's get this video started. All right, you guys, so we're underneath the truck real quick. So from looking at it, these are the sway links. They don't look, just from looking at them, they don't look horrible, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know when this last time they've been changed. They honestly look like the original ones. We're gonna find out once we take it off. But yeah, we're gonna get some new ones on here though. So I told you guys that we're gonna start focusing on the suspension, which is a must, right? First thing starting with is gonna be the sway links, and then from there we got something good in store for the track bar. You definitely don't want to miss that one. And then we also are going to be replacing the steering linkage, including that warranted, or whatever they want to call it, for the drag link. When it came out, they welded the jam nuts, so basically you can't have a straight steering wheel because they had a warranty recall on it. So we're going to be getting this undercarriage, and we're gonna definitely make it better than what it was. So oh yeah, including the sway bar, that has to go. All this has to go. Slowly but surely we're gonna get it done though. All right, so I got the stock one out, and it's not like, I'm not gonna say it's horrible, right? It still has a little firmness to it, but it's definitely not like the new one. The new one, this thing is tight, and like you gotta try to move it, you know what I'm saying? So we got the first one out. Guys, is it normal for them to not come with bushings for the sway bar portion? Boom, quick little installation, nothing crazy, super simple. New sway bar links, and these, again, I didn't go crazy with the links just because these aren't going to be on here forever, because when we lift the truck, hopefully in the near future, right, whenever the camera wants to stop acting up, these won't be used again. So we gonna go ahead, oh man, like rained on me while I was underneath the truck. We're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get to the point of this video and talk to y'all about the transmission, how everything's been doing. You see the Banks filter right here. You see the turbo back there chilling, right? The Ryan's diesel, come on now. So let's get to it. So if you didn't know, or if you haven't found out yet, right, I went ahead and had the Revmax 700 series transmission installed into my truck. The work got done on it back in January, I want to say, or not January, June. It got done in June, and then I was gone for work for about a month and a half, got back, and then I drove the truck pretty much beginning of September. So it's been about a month now, almost pretty much a month, right? Like 2 days off from a month or 1 day off from a month since I've been back driving the truck every day. So I've been daily in the truck since it got back. One, because I wanted to do the break-in, but two, because I wanted to see what it was about. I'm not disappointed one bit. I'm not. That's the easiest way to say it, you guys. And again, this is why I said if you guys have a built trans or a redone trans or whatever it is, drop a comment. That way other people can see and kind of feel where to go to, you know what I'm saying? So I went ahead and did the Revmax 700 series with some extras on it, right? So right off the rip, I have it on my phone here. Oh, you guys can't see me, sorry. So I have to read off my phone because I can't remember every single thing that I put in the transmission, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm doing that. So right off the rip, we did the high performance rebuild kit. We did the 700 high performance input clutch drum, which is the steel billet steel, not billet aluminum, billet steel, because the factory is aluminum, and that's why it's super weak. Billet steel input drum. What that does is that basically allows you to go from 12 clutches, which is what's factory in your input drum. It allows you to go up to, I think, 16, right? So you get more holding capacity. It increases it by like 33% or something like that. But the reason why that's important is because you need that when you're, for your fourth, fifth, and sixth gear for overdrive, you need that so that way when you're getting on the truck, right, i.e. if you're on an inclined slope and you're pulling a 15K load and you're in fifth gear and you need to pass somebody, you get on the pedal, right, you need that clamping force in the transmission so that way it doesn't slip, and that way you don't go in limp mode going up a hill with the load behind you, you know what I'm saying? So we got that. We got the billet input shaft. So this truck does have the billet input shaft. Billet input shaft really is there for your truck to protect it, or to help it out. My camera's like all messed up right now, sorry. It's there to help it when in low gears, right? So anybody tell you, like, if you're gonna do 4x4 launches, if you're gonna do sled pulls, anything like that, you need to have a billet input clutch or a billet input shaft, because your factory shaft, input shaft, is not going to be able to hold that, right? There is a lot of torque and a lot of power being applied to a skinny little metal shaft that your torque converter sits on, right? And you need that to be reinforced, right? So that way you don't snap it, okay? Now, some people are arguing and say, well, if I keep the factory one, if it breaks, it just breaks and it's clean. It doesn't send shards throughout my entire transmission. And then others that say, no, you want the billet because the billets don't break as often, right? The way I look at it is if you break an input shaft, you're gonna have to drop the trans regardless, you know what I'm saying? So why not break it with a lesser prone input shaft that would break? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you break an input shaft, you gotta drop the trans, and the trans has to get taken apart pretty much completely. You might as well flush the system out while, you know, the lines in the cooler while it's out, right? And then go from there. Having the billet input shaft is going to ensure that the chances of it occurring are less, if that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? So we got the billet input shaft. We have the billet flex plate. That one, I personally have never heard or seen anybody with the factory flex plate on these trucks. Some people call them flex plates, some people call them flywheels. Pretty much the same thing, but whatever. I've never seen a stock one break personally. I'm sure there are pictures out there. I'm sure people have broken them, like, you know what I'm saying? But I personally have never seen that. But I went ahead and did the billet flex plate on that. And then we have the billet steel support centers with the 5C with pistons. So your applied pistons in the transmission, they are billet steels now, no longer the factory aluminum, which are known for causing what's called squawking. I don't know what all that is. All I know is that it helps. And then we had that, so that was that kit. And then the other one for the torque converter, we went ahead and did, one sec, y'all, let me pull this thing up real quick. For the torque converter, we did the low stall stage 5 billet torque converter, okay? And then I did the pump plate gasket, right? So yep, and that was it. I was making sure that was it. But yeah, so that's what we did, you guys. A lot of stuff went on in this transmission. Now it doesn't sound like it's not just that. Like the things I named, it's not just those 5 or 6 things I named, right? So for example, the high performance rebuild kit, that's not just one thing, that's everything. It's clutch pack, gaskets, O-rings, seals, like it's a whole rebuild kit, you know what I'm saying? On top of that, something else I did that is not in that build sheet is I also did the BD heavy duty low reverse sprag. Okay, so your sprag gear basically is the gear that, like, when you put it in the reverse, it locks in so that way your reverse gear works, and then when you put it in drive, it disengages so that way it doesn't do anything, right? Basically, so you're not putting the trans is not in reverse at the same time it's in drive. That's the best way I can explain it based off my readings, but I have that, right? Problem with the factory one is when you take it apart, it's like super flimsy accordion style springs in there. The BD heavy duty one basically is like legit, like beefed up springs, so where you would never have to worry about burning up your first gear in the truck. So if you ever had an issue where the truck's in first gear and it just won't move, you either have a broken input shaft, or that sprag blew up and is no longer good. Or if you lose reverse in your truck, if you lose reverse in the truck, that sprag is probably what blew up or went out inside the transmission, right? We have all those things that got done in the truck, right? So it's a lot of stuff in the transmission, but what I will say is that this truck has drove phenomenal since I've gotten it back. It doesn't miss a beat. It shifts extremely fast. I'll put a video in here so you guys can hear and see what it sounds like driving and shifting. Let's see what we have. That was like, I don't know, 30, about 35% throttle. Nothing crazy. It sounds good though. It's very assertive, right? This trans knows what it wants to do. No more hunting gears. It doesn't do that no more, right? Like if you drive, if it wants to be in 4th gear, it's gonna go to 4th gear and it's gonna stay there. If it wants to be in 5th gear, it knows what it wants to do. You know what I'm saying? That is a notorious thing with the 68 RFEs, is that it always seems like it doesn't know what gear it wants to be in, right? That is no longer a thing. I don't know how that's possible, but the Revmax kit solved that. Another thing, when you do get on the truck in overdrive, you feel it when it shifts the gears, right? Like it's applying good, consistent pressure to the clutch packs. It's fully engaging. It doesn't defuel or, like, you know what I'm saying, like that weird shutter shift, like none of that. It's super crisp, super fast. I have about 500-ish miles on the trans since I've gotten it rebuilt. When I got it back from the shop, I reset the odometer because I wanted to track my mileage. That way I knew how many miles I put on it since the relearn. And right now we're at about 500. Full relearn got done on it. I also am running the tune-in from CCS via Dirty Diesel Customs, right? So it combines and it comes together as like a complete package, you guys. I also have the deep dish trans pan on here from Revmax. I forgot to mention that. And I also have the Revmax billet valve body full assembly. I put those 2 things on before I had the transmission built. But the cool thing is that if you get your trans rebuilt, as long as your valve body is fine, like, you know, material didn't go through it, you can reuse that valve body. And if it did, you can take that valve body. So I have the Revmax valve body. You can take, Revmax has an awesome program for their torque converters and for their valve bodies, to where you can basically send them off to get refreshed, rebuilt at a big discounted price versus buying a brand new one. So I think for the Revmax valve body, if I wanted to get it rebuilt or fresh, it's like 175 bucks, and then the torque converter, I think it's like 400 or 500 bucks. And all you do is mail it to them. You pay for it. They'll send you a tracking. They'll send you a shipping label. You send it to them. They'll cut it open. They'll rebuild it. Put new fucking packs in there. All that stuff. And it's like under $1,000 man. So that's like, stuff like that. Like, you can't beat it, right? I don't know the other companies do it. Some might, but I know for a fact Revmax does. Why did I go with Revmax? you go on the forums, man, you start talking about transmissions on the forums for these trucks, and that's like one of the first companies that pops up is Revmax, right? Every now and then you'll see someone that says something bad. I can't speak on their behalf, but what I will say is from my experience and what I have done to my truck and transmission, I have not been disappointed, and everything has been flawless, right? What I will say is that I'm also running the trans tuning, like I just mentioned earlier, from CCS. I'm running the Revmax specific tune files, right? So with Revmax transmissions, and this goes for probably a lot of them, but for Revmax trans, you need to make sure that you're running the appropriate line pressures and basically shift points and lockup strategies that Revmax recommends for their transmissions, right? So if you are running a trans tune built for like BDE or Suncoast or somebody else, right? Revmax will not warranty their transmissions if because they're going to want data log or the data from the truck in order to warranty it. They will not warranty it if they see that the values for your transmission are not at the specified values that they want on their truck or on their transmissions, okay? So my transmission was not, I didn't buy it from Revmax and had it shipped to me. Mine got built, okay? And I talked about this in a couple videos ago about how if you want to save money, right? So how much did this cost me? I'm sure a lot of you guys are gonna want to know that, right? How much did it cost to get my trans built? So at the end of the day, with everything, buying parts, labor, I spent, okay? But I didn't spend that all at once, right? So what you can do is, and I mentioned it before, is you can buy the parts, right? Piece by piece. And then when you have all the parts you want to get put into the trans, take it to a local transmission shop that knows how to build 68 RFEs and let them build a transmission. Let them drop it, take it apart, flush the cooler, build the trans. One thing I did was I gave instructions to my builder. I said, hey man, these are the instructions on how to build the Revmax input drum, because Revmax has specific instructions for their input drum in terms of clearances, right? So I gave all that to them. I said, hey, this is what they said. They say, all right, tight, sounds good. They did it, no issues. Built everything back up together and went from there. That price also includes things I bought, such as I bought a new solenoid, shift solenoid pack. I bought new sensors, new pressure switch. Like everything was brand new. So everything is brand new. OEM Mopar solenoid, Mopar pressure switches, trans line sensor, all that stuff is Mopar, man. So don't cheap out, first things first. And filters. So the pan filter and the spin-on filter had the billet steel screw, which came with the Revmax kit, the rebuild kit. So like, don't skip out when you're doing this, right? And then not to mention the price for the BD heavy duty low reverse sprag. I actually got a sweet deal on it. I found it on eBay, open box for 200 bucks, brand new. I think it goes for like 400 or 500 bucks. So if you're using your truck every day and you need your truck back on the road ricky ticky, so you take it to the local builder in wherever you're at to get it rebuilt just so you can get back on the road, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's life, you know what I'm saying? But if you are strategically wanting a built transmission in your truck, right, you can do it this way and it not hurt your pocket as much at one time, right? So if I told you to go buy a Revmax 700, you would need at least $8,000 to $10,000 in terms of credit or cash or whatever it is, right? They're gonna pull all that money at one time, which is not an easy pill to swallow, right? I don't care who you are. Or you buy the torque converter, input shaft, right? 1,500 bucks. Then you buy your rebuild kit, 600 bucks. And then you buy stuff little by little, right? So don't think that because you can't drop 8 grand all at once that you can't have a built transmission, because you can, because that's what I did, right? And I'm not afraid or ashamed to admit that. Like, I'm not gonna drop 8 grand all at once to get my trans built. I'm not. Like, that's just not the type of person I am. There's a reason why my truck still has stock wheels right now, because I don't want to drop 8 grand on 26-inch forged wheels. Like, I'm gonna get them, but you know what I'm saying? So like, don't be afraid of that, right? This is just a different alternative, a different route that you guys can do if you want to get your transmission built, right? But what I will say is choose a company whose parts are reputable, right? And Revmax, when it comes to the 68 RFE, they're top of the game. Like you're not gonna really find a company besides them that is up there with them, right? A lot of people will say Randy's, which I have no problem with Randy. I've never ran their products, so I can't really speak about them, but I've heard really good things about Randy transmissions, right? But to each his own, you know what I'm saying? If you feel comfortable and you trust the company you're going with and you want to give them your money, then do that, you know what I'm saying? But for me, I will tell you, Revmax will not steer you wrong, right? Their customer service is second to none. It's excellent, right? Tom, Josh, the whole team out there, they are awesome, down-to-earth Americans. Like, you would love to have a conversation with them, you know what I'm saying? They do offer military discount, first responder, all that stuff. So if you are in that line of category, right, you can get a discount from them and whatnot. So it's just food for thought, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, man, this truck has been doing very good. I keep an eye on my line pressure via my Edge CTS 3 monitor. So I keep that. It's off right now, but when I drive, there's been a few times, I can't lie, there's been a few times I've gotten on it, right, and I wanted to see what the line pressure sat at, and one time I was on tune 5 and I got on it and it shifted into 5th gear, 5th and 6th, and it was at like 250 line pressure. So she hooks and she goes, right, and the shifts are so assertive, they're so firm, they're so on point and so consistent, you know what I'm saying, based off like your pedal input. So if I'm just cruising in town, it's not gonna shift super hard and throw me in the back seat. Like it shifts normal, but if I get on it, it tightens up, it firms up the shifts, and she goes, like she just moves, man. It's definitely a good investment, right? So who would I recommend this build for? So the Revmax 700, it's good for up to 750 horsepower. I have no intents of making this truck that much power, but this setup trans is built to where it's basically took away all of the prone things in terms of this transmission. I've corrected all of it. Number one is the valve body. Got a billet valve body. Number two is the input drum. Got rid of the stock one. Upgraded the clutch packs. We have the high performance. So Revmax uses the Rabesto's high performance clutch packs. Some people like to use Borg Warner, some people like to use GBZ, right? But we have the Rabesto. They're like Revmax specific clutch packs. So Rabesto makes clutch packs specifically for Revmax that are made to Revmax tolerances that Revmax wants. That's what they have, and that's what I have. Like 80,000, 100,000 miles easily out of those clutch packs. So like, man, I'm telling you guys, like, you don't understand, man. Like, this thing gets it. Hopefully the videos showed you guys that, you know what I'm saying, to be able to paint the picture. But at the end of the day, the transmission has been doing very good. So if you guys had questions or concerns in terms of should you get a Revmax transmission, and you don't have to get the Revmax 700, you can get the Revmax 500 and it's going to do you very good too. Obviously the 500 is only going to be good up to a certain amount of power, but I wanted mine to be good to hold. This setup I have here can hold like 800, 850 because I added some extra stuff. So the Revmax 700 traditionally does not come with the Sprag. It doesn't come with the apply piston. Oh, actually it does. It comes with the 2C, 4C billet pistons. I don't think it comes with the 5C though. But there's like 2 or 3 things that the Revmax 700 doesn't have that I purchased on the side so I can have the torque converter. I mean, it all works, man. It's crispy. It's crispy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to keep going. Hopefully this video helped you guys out, gave you guys an understanding. If there's anything I didn't talk about or missed, or anything you want to know about, just ask me down below in the comments, y'all. You guys know I'm down there. I respond to y'all. So I appreciate y'all joining the video today. We do have stuff to do. I got a brand new fan belt, a brand new belt tensioner, right? Because I'm trying to get the AC fixed and stuff like that. So if you guys have any questions, by all means ask. Make sure you smash the like button. Thank you guys for joining so much. And until next time, I'll see you guys. Take care. Be safe. Peace out. All that good stuff. I'll see y'all later.